sure you're getting a hold of those 4-Hers and getting your barbecue tickets. And the 16th through the 20th is the 135th Lassen County Fair.
Correct.
That's all I've got for you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there any more public comment at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to unagendized reports by board members. Mr. Scanlon?
Sure. On Tuesday the 8th, after the regular board meeting, I attended the Air Pollution Control District meeting, focusing on grants for outdated equipment to be replaced by battery-powered equipment. And then I also met with various constituents again regarding the Fort Sage Food Distribution Program. And I'm grateful that Carla McDonald has stepped in. She's the leader of the Salvation Army here in town and is coordinating with different individuals, volunteers that are gonna get food out to Hurlong and up to Westwood. And so that program is gonna continue. Looking for a permanent solution, but that's how it's gonna roll right now. And then on Thursday the 10th, I attended a Spalding Neighborhood Watch meeting for a couple hours and listened to the constituents and talked with them. And then on the same day, I attended a Spalding Community Service District meeting. That lasted a couple hours. And then on Friday the 11th, I went up to Westwood and attended the Chamber of Commerce 4-H pig out. And I tried not to make a pig of myself, but it was hard because it was a lot of good food. And it was well attended and a great fundraiser. And then this last Saturday, I went to the Health and Human Services Walk a Mile event at Veterans Park. And that was a great event too. A lot of the community was there, a lot of county representation and private NGOs and stuff. And, great event, and I got sunburned. That was it.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks. Gary?
Okay, let's see. On the 8th, I attended a behavioral health stakeholders meeting. There's gonna be 3 more of those throughout the county. There's some pretty decent training there. I think anybody that's looking for some knowledge on behavioral health, it'd be good to attend. I know they're having them in South County, over in Westwood, every corner of the county. And then last night I attended the Lassen County Behavioral Health Advisory Board meeting. And this Thursday, I will be I leave Wednesday, I'll be attending the NORTEC Governing Board Executive Committee. We'll be hiring a new director. Our last director retired after 17 years, so it's gonna be some pretty good sized shoes to fill. Very important shoes. And I'd like to donate $400 to the Susanville Bluegrass Music Alliance. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Jason?
Sure, thank you, sir. I too attended last Tuesday the air pollution meeting, which I totally forgot about. And Wednesday I attended the MHSA Hurlong Town Hall, and it was a good town hall down there. They had a lot of good information about fentanyl, mental health, and all the different resources the county has to offer. And then from there I followed Supervisor Scanlon around to the Westwood Pig Out, and it was a great event, and I did pig out. I really liked what they did up there with all the different 8 or 9 different ways they cook that pig, and how the chamber supports their 4-H and FFA kiddos by purchasing an animal. I think it was a great idea, and it was a really great event. And then I followed Supervisor Scanlon to the Walk a Mile. It was well attended as well, and it was good to see all those resources out there. And I got a little sore walking that mile. I guess I wasn't ready for it. Also, we did the first South County food distribution yesterday, and I wanted to thank Carla McDonald and the Salvation Army for helping us get this going in Hurlong. I wanted to thank 2 of the very special volunteers that are sitting in the audience. No matter what harebrained idea I have, whether we're stuffing backpacks or stuffing a few hundred Easter eggs or whatever we're doing in the community, my kids are always there to help. So I really want to thank them for participating. This Saturday we got 2 Easter egg hunts, one in Standish first and then one in Milford, and also the big one in Doyle as well. I wanted to contribute $250 to the Bluegrass Festival for my discretionary funds, and wish everybody a happy Easter.
Alba.
Yeah, I'd like to start off by welcoming Ingram kids. You guys really do make your dad look good, so.
That's why I bring them.
You know, last week, I said I'd work on writing that resolution and letter for the whole thing, and I might have bit off more than I could chew on, and need a lot of help for it, but my time's just limited. Anyway, I am working on it, I did make some good headway, but I'll need some help, I don't need to talk to you. We'll get that done. Road construction season is upon us, so give yourself a little. 39 up here starting next week, I think. So anyway, so they're gonna have the go around Bryce Canyon Road and go around Eagle Lake, just so that everybody's aware. So be aware of that. And then Saturday I attended the Beef and Brew for the cattle limit over in MacArthur. It's a good event, good time, good fun. I want a half a pig, so I get to eat half a pig by myself. I don't have to share.
You get to really
Wow,
pig out.
good job.
So anyway, other than that, that's all I got.
Congratulations. Yes, I want to recognize the Ingram girls. Thank you for coming. And I also attended the air pollution meeting after our meeting last week. And there's a pool meeting today at 3. Tomorrow I'll be attending the Jolly Elders luncheon, and there's Fire Safe Council meeting tomorrow night at 5:30. On Thursday, the PSA2 lunch program, they sent out some RFPs, and I'll be working on that. I also attended with Gary the behavioral health on April 8th, and that's all I got. Oh, one more thing too. I know it's already been mentioned, but the veterans stand down on May 17th. And also on April 23rd, I'm gonna have a town hall meeting at the Jolly Elders building at 5:30. So,
I forgot 2 things.
okay, that's all I got, and now
Okay,
Mr.
well,
Bridges has some more.
It's not really for me, it's for Tom. I wanna thank you for filling in for me on Friday at PSA2, because I'll be taking my wife to a doctor's appointment. And then on the 21st, you're gonna be doing another meeting for me. Maybe I got anyway, 2 different meetings you're filling in, because I'm getting some injections in my neck, so thank you for taking care of the guy.
All right,
Appreciate it.
thank you. Okay. Okay, we are going to move on to G, information and consent calendar.
I'd like to pull 6.
Okay. Is there any other?
5.
5?
There's no other changes, Mr. Chairman, or no other polls, I'll move to approve the balance.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Supervisor Alba and seconded by Supervisor Ingram. And is there anybody from the public that would like to comment on this? Okay, seeing none, we'll bring back our, I need a vote to
Approve the balance.
approve the balance. Thank you.
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Okay, we're going to move on to G5.
Morning, Mr. McGarvey, how are you?
Good, I'm mean, normally this happens to Danielle, I'm not used to it happening to me, so.
She's not here to-
I know, you just had to pick on me.
Somebody, come on.
Good. John McGarvis, Sheriff Coroner. We heard G5 is concerning an extension with Thompson Peak Investigations for background investigation services. I recently had the resignation of my community. I have a community service officer that's assigned to background investigations. She resigned to take another job. It leaves me without and about 15 background investigations that are still pending completion and in different stages. The owner of Thompson Peak, Matt McFarland, was a retired captain with our office. He's a post-certified background investigator. He already was under contract since 2023. We just extended it out another year and added more money because he deserves to be compensated for his services, and he does a great job for us, and he's very efficient. So with that, I'll take any questions you might have.
You answered all my questions with your detailed explanation, so thank you.
You're welcome. I try hard.
With that, Mr. Chairman, I would move approval.
All right. I do have a
There
question.
needs to be a second.
I'll second.
Okay,
There you
Thank you.
now I can ask
Yep.
you a
Better
question.
discussion.
Okay, we already have him under contract, right?
Yes, he's
And
current con.
So, this extra money is because he has to perform more services, or how does the contract work? I mean,
So
does he
I can
have to-
answer all those questions.
all right,
We spent all of our money in that contract already, and it expires at the end of June. So we had to add money to the contract. We've already expended the 25,000 that was there, and we have to. The contract ends at the end of June 30th, 2025 anyway. So we had to extend the contract for another year and add money to it in order to continue with the services.
okay.
And it's a requirement. I have to complete these things to hire people. So.
No, that's fine, I just wasn't following, we already have him under contract, and then we have to, pay more money to him in order to, because someone else quit. But
It's a
that
great
isn't
problem
the
to have.
case, we have there wasn't money there.
Yeah, and we do have the money already, we have the money to pay him, that's not the issue. It's already in the budget, and we split this usually between 3 different budgets. It goes between the jail budget, which is the 130,0525, it's then the dispatch budget, which is 130,0523, and then the patrol budget, which is 130,0522. And we split it between whichever candidate comes through, so there's plenty of money to be able to pay for these things. Unfortunately, we were actually using him to help supplement because we had overwhelmed my background investigator. Really, it's a great problem to have. We have people coming in, but there were so many investigations to get completed. It was more than one person can reasonably accomplish. So it worked out great, and Mr. McFarland's really good at his investigations. They're thorough. He does great work. I got no complaints to anything he does.
And are we gonna overwhelm Mr. McFarland with work, or?
So it's a great question.
Or is this going
Before I brought this, I met with him to have that same discussion, and the answer is no. So he said he's more than capable of handling it. He'll just chunk them out as they go. We set a list of priorities. We triaged what gets done first, where our needs are, whether it's civilian or sworn, and we're moving forward. In fact, I already got one back.
Awesome.
So
I just
Sir.
wanna compliment you on the person you hired for the contract. He's a pretty incredible individual, so you're looking out for the county in so many ways, thank you.
No problem. I've known him my entire career. I came up under him, and not to make him feel any older than he probably already does, but he was my field training officer, so I know what he's capable of doing. He's easily able up to this task. That's not even an issue.
Okay, is there anybody from the public that wants to comment on that? Okay, we'll, call for a vote. All those in favor,
Aye.
Aye.
opposed, okay. Okay, we're moving on to G6, the, deputy sheriff modification.
So, John McGarvis, Sheriff Coroner again, for this one. This one, we're trying to find ways for retention of deputy sheriffs and trying to find ways to get them more compensation more quickly. And one of the ways we decided to do this, originally to get a deputy sheriff 2, you had to have 3 years as a deputy sheriff 1 and meet certain qualifications. As far as being a deputy coroner, you have to have a basic certificate, you had to be off probation, obviously, at the 3-year point, and those type of things. What we did with this, and after meeting with the DSA, there's some things we could do and some things we couldn't do. This was an easy one. All I did was shorten the requirements from 36 months to 18 months. They still have to be a deputy coroner, they still have to have a basic certificate from post, they still have to be off probation in good standing, they still have to meet all of the requirements it takes to promote in order to be able to reach that classification. Except the experience level has come down. It gives these guys that are coming up the ability to make a little bit more money a little quicker, and it's in their court to do it. They're the ones that have to get through the coroner's process, and that's not an easy process to become a deputy coroner. There's a lot of knowledge you have to get in. You have to get a certain amount, I wouldn't say a certain amount of cases, but a certain amount of experience with coroner's cases, and that's a whole gamut of different things. It could be anything from an in-custody death at the prison that we typically go to car accidents, to suicides, to homicides. You got to get a good breadth of experience before you're allowed to we don't just bring someone in and say you're a coroner. So it actually is, it's on them to get those things done, and they have to pass a coroner's test with the operations division commander.
Yes.
Well, I pulled this item, so I wanted to thank you for getting this done. I know we done it for the deputies in the jail, to help with recruitment efforts, and now we have this. So thank you for getting this done.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
This one I was glad to do it. It took me a little longer than I wanted to get it here, but some of that things propped up in the way, and I met with their DSA president. We got this done, and personnel approved it, and there's no real fiscal impact. It's just money that would be paid out to these people down the road anyway, so there's no impact to the budget.
I love it.
So there's no impact? Are you eliminating sheriff
Ones?
ones
Nope.
then?
No.
So we're still gonna have a sheriff's 1, and now you've created a new position for sheriff 2?
No, Sheriff 2's been on the books for several years. All I did was shorten the promotion requirements to become a Sheriff 2.
36 to 18.
Yeah, just took a year and a half off the requirements. They can be eligible to put in to get that position at 18 months if they meet the other requirements as well.
So
It's just an
both-
eligibility.
Both those positions are already in the budget.
Yes. Deputy Sheriff 1 is that fresh academy graduate. That's that guy that comes out, fresh out, is on field training, relatively green, gaining experience, learning the process. To become that Deputy Sheriff 2, you have to show that you've learned from that experience and what that process is. They're both been in the budget. This was created years ago, this series classification. So we've had this for a long period of time. All I did was to take the requirements to be eligible to do it from 36 months to 18 months. And they can do the process.
And why did you need to shorten it?
Well, it was all about retention. We were losing some of these people before they were reaching that 36-month mark. They were, we've talked about this several times about benefits costs and a lot of things that come with raising a young family or wanting to start a family. I've lost deputies because they can't wait that 36 months. We've had deputies that have had to pay their bills on credit cards because they couldn't afford the insurance plans, and we've lost them over these things before this mark. The idea is behind this is to give them the ability to start gaining that upper classification and that compensation faster to help make up some of the ground on those things.
Yeah, if it's to be, and they want it bad enough, they'll make it, they themselves will make it happen.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a win, so thank you.
No problem.
It's very incentive based on their part. All we do, we set the standards and they have to meet them. It's no different than, in some ways, it's no different than a bilingual incentive that you have to go out and get, or education incentives, or those type of things. Still got to do the things to meet that requirement. It's on them to meet them. It's totally up to them.
It's great, I think it's great.
Yeah, well, I just don't want it to be that you're using the cost savings for the Sheriff 1 and to pay for the sheriff's two position.
No, it's nothing like that.
I'm against, I'm against that part of it.
I don't know that
if-
I'm doing that.
Well, I asked you if you were, and you answered my question that you're not,
Yeah,
but,
okay.
all right?
I just wanna make sure I'm following, I didn't wanna make sure I'm
No,
losing
I
track of
just
the conversation.
don't, because I'm done.
You were looking out.
No, I appreciate the question, it's a good question. I'm doing everything I can to try and keep, we're getting really quality people in here, and we've lost some really good candidates over the years because they just, couldn't, I hate to say couldn't afford to stay here, but it became a choice of, being able to afford and stay. It's a tough balance in this county, it really is, and it's no one's fault, it just is what it is.
I think it's a great idea to accelerate the process, and
Mhm.
maybe we'll keep some more guys with that.
I think so, I'm
Good
confident.
I think it's really great that, John's trying to do something to promote retention and working within his own means, so.
Absolutely.
This is, happening, and it should happen all over in different departments, You gotta do more with less.
All right. So do I have, or, go ahead.
So, can a deputy sheriff, coroner two, can they go out and confirm a whole kill?
I'm still working on that process, actually. And as you can imagine, I'm probably not getting I'm not getting a ton of, but no.
They're shaking their head, it's not changing.
I will attribute it to the questions based on, the question of the job duties, let's go with that.
I need a motion.
Motion to approve item G6, approve
Second.
modification
Motion
of
made
job
by-
description, deputy sheriff 1 to 2.
Supervisor Ingram,
With the Wolf Amendment.
second by Supervisor Bridges. Is there anybody from the public that would like to comment other than Mr. Alba's comment?
Not about wolves.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
He's laughing because crying is not.
Right, you're not allowed.
Okay, we're gonna take a 3-minute break.
You're fine.
Yeah, I did, sorry, I should have.
boss, or, okay,
There you
Yes,
go.
we're live.
Smart man.
I like it.
yeah.
Very excited.
I'm really fortunate.
Okay, we're going to, go to, C1, public hearing on, planning and building services.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Galen Norwood, Planning and Building Services Department. This is the adoption of the ordinance amending section 12.27.300 fire safety regulations of chapter 1227, which is the limited density owner-built rural dwellings ordinance of the Lassen County Code. The amendment will remove the requirement to install fire sprinklers within all residential structures over 2,000 square feet constructed under chapter 1227. The requested action is to receive the report, conduct a public hearing, and waive the second reading and adopt the ordinance. So currently, a structure qualifies under the rural density owner-built dwelling ordinance. If it's under 2,000 square feet, it doesn't have to have fire sprinklers. If it's over 2,000 square feet, it does. So this removes the requirement for the structures over 2,000 square feet. So similar to the ones that are under 2,000 square feet, if it qualifies as a limited density owner-built rural dwelling, it wouldn't have to have fire sprinklers installed. And so, we gave a staff report last time. On March 25th, the Board of Supervisors introduced and waived the first reading of the ordinance and directed staff to schedule this public hearing for 10 a.m. today to consider the ordinance and to waive the second reading and adopt the ordinance. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I just want to thank you for bringing up the fact that it's under 2,000 square feet, it's already exempt. This is just for 2,000 square feet and larger, so.
Because that's currently not exempt.
Oh, it's not?
Over 2,000 is not.
Yeah,
exempt.
over 2,000 is not, and that's what we're doing right now, but I just wanted to thank you for bringing that up.
It's already exempt under 2,000,
Yep, thank you, sir.
and it doesn't change that.
Anybody else? Okay, so we're going to, well,
Yes.
open up a public hearing
Yes.
at this time at 10:06. Is there anybody from the public that wants to comment against this? Is there anybody from the public that wants to, speak for this? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing at 10:07. And bring it back up here. I need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to receive the report. We've conducted the public hearing and waive the second reading and adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Okay, Supervisor Scanlon made the motion, Supervisor Bridges seconded it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Roll call.
okay.
Roll call, Michelle.
Supervisor Scanlon,
Yes.
Supervisor Bridges.
Yes.
Supervisor Alba,
Aye.
Supervisor Ingram,
Aye.
Supervisor Neely.
Yes. Okay, motion passes. Okay, we're moving on to H1, there.
Good morning again, Bill Pyer, Lassen County Fair. Item H1 here is actually just a formality. I think you have all the paperwork that you need on it. It's asking you to approve the request to the California Department of Food and Agriculture for the fiscal year 24-25 allocations that the county fair receives from the California Department of Agriculture. This is something that has been done in the past. It's a normal action. The reason I'm asking for this is the California Department of Food and Agriculture requires a board action requesting this. In October, CAO Egan had signed the contract and it was within his parameters that he could sign for. However, California Department of Food and Agriculture still wants your request for the approval. So that's what I'm asking for.
Okay, do I have any questions?
No questions.
I got one question.
Okay.
Okay.
Bill, I know you're pretty new to this and whatnot, but I mean, are you gonna keep going after this and, this grant moving forward? And as the state, I mean, you have any feeling from the state, are they gonna keep funding this?
The limited amount that I know about it, yes, they are going to keep funding it, and of course, we'll keep going after it. Absolutely. If you take a look at the page in your attachments that talk about the California Department of Food and Agriculture, fairs and expositions, allocation, the scope of work, the purpose of the funds, I mean, there's all sorts of things that we can use this for and stay within their parameters. So there's no reason to not request this money. So, and it does make an impact of a maximum of $47,450 for this year's allocation. Any other questions?
And
Yeah.
is his part of the 2/3 or 1/3 of the sales tax that the fairs generate?
That, I don't know the answer to that question, Tom. It's from, again, from the Department of Food and Agriculture. It's from their marketing services department. So,
All right.
anything else?
No. So, is there anybody from the public who would like to comment on this? Okay, seeing none.
I'll make a motion to approve the grant agreement.
Okay. Motion made by Supervisor Bridges, second by Supervisor Ingram. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
guys.
Okay, we're gonna move on to H2. Fair
Still here.
And racing.
Bill Pyre, Lassen County Fair. Okay, so as the board knows, there's been a definite public outcry for racing in Lassen County. The Lassen County Fair Advisory Board Entertainment and Interim Committee met on 4/15. Just as a little background, we previously had issued 2 RFPs for operation of the Speedway at the Lassen County Fairgrounds. Both failed to produce a qualified bidder. The Entertainment and Interim Committee would like to report that the 3rd RFP, the bid received from Leaf and Kim Berglund Racing Promotions was complete and scored an average of 89.66 out of 100 by the committee. The bid provides for a minimum revenue to the Lassen County Fair of $9,600 for the 2025 season, $15,600 for the 26 and 27 seasons. Berglund Racing Promotions is the promoter for the Plumas County Fair, and they have a solid plan to promote the Lassen County Speedway in conjunction with the Plumas County Speedway. You have the documentation there as far as the RFP goes. It's the recommendation of the committee to award the bid to Berglund Racing Promotions and direct staff to prepare a final contract.
Yes.
If this gets approved, when's the first race?
Their proposed, I've got their proposal here. Back to it. Quite a pile of papers here. Here we go. Their proposed race schedule is May 10th for a test and tune fun day. May 23rd would be the opening day. June 8th, June 15th, July 4th and 5th, July 20th for the fair race, August 16th and 17th, and then the final races for the year at Lassen Speedway would be August 30th and 31st.
Very well done.
Is there anybody else with any comments? Is there anybody from the public if you'd like to comment on this?
Just a quick question. What kind of?
Sir, you need to come up to the
Oh, I
podium,
apologize.
state your name, and you'll have 3 minutes to comment.
Oh, I won't take that long. My name is James Burgett, and I just wanted to know what kind of cars are racing.
Oh, it would be the stock cars. It's circle track,
Okay, thank you.
dirt track.
Okay, is there anybody else? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back up here. Bill, I do have one question on
Try to answer it for you.
On page 2 and page 16
Page-
for the, it's for the concession.
Yes.
Underneath the grandstands.
Correct.
Is the RFP including the concessions underneath the grandstands?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Because it's on, and we can clean it up later, but on page 2, it says it does not include the concession building, concession underneath the grandstands. And then on page 7, it does state that the grandstand concessions, so.
Yes, it does.
Just a little cleanup.
Okay, it does include the concessions there. It does
Okay.
not include the beer concessions.
Does not include.
Does not include the beer concessions. Does not include
On
alcohol.
page 2 and page 7, Amanda?
Page 2, it's just a definition of what the premises and speedway is. So the
And
premises.
does not include
Right,
the
the
concession
premises doesn't
building and
include that.
concession room underneath the grandstands.
That's the definition of premises, yes.
But, so does it include it or not?
The premises to be utilized by the contractor for operation of the speedway consists of the grandstand, concession, restroom, restroom, and grandstand food concessions. So that's defining what the premises is with relationship to this particular RFP.
Okay, well, we'll discuss it after, because I don't see that.
Well, this is a done deal, so it's, the RFP's already gone out, so we'll
Alright.
just make it clear in the contract.
Got it.
You need a motion?
All right, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to receive findings dash scoring of the Lassen County Fair Advisory Board Interim Committee and award contract or provide direction to staff.
We wanna make it to award contract. Right?
Yes,
No, provide direction.
okay,
Yeah, you're
just
just.
award,
the direction.
to award contract,
Correct.
sorry.
Okay,
Second.
okay, motion made by Supervisor Bridges, seconded by Supervisor Alba.
Under discussion, may I
Yes.
just thank Mr. Taylor for jumping through a lot of hoops to get this in front of you. He really worked hard, and I just wanna give him that credit.
I have to agree with that. You made a lot of people in Lassen County and surrounding areas very happy.
I know to you, Bill, but give it to the Fair Advisory Board too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. I will pass that along, thank you.
You got a heck of a board.
That's for sure.
Okay, so, all those in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, we are moving on to H3, cargo container permit.
Yes, Galen Norwood, Planning and Building Services Department. So this is a report on the cargo container building permit requirements. It's not very popular. but the California Building Code was amended to require building permits for cargo containers. We've worked with building and gotten it down to where we don't require engineering. Strictly speaking, without the modifications that we've made, building permit for cargo containers which require engineering, we've got it to where it doesn't require engineering, but it does require it to be anchored. And there are exemptions for agricultural exemptions or for the temporary placement of a cargo container. It could be placed temporarily for up to 180 days. We've worked, met several times, like I think 3 times with Lassen Rents, with Mr. Mallory, talking through this. And of course, it's not something he likes, but he understands it and that it's required and that we are required to do it. The building permit fee for this is set at the minimum building permit fee. So the minimum building permit for any building permit issued by Lassen County is $300. And so it's set at the minimum building permit fee. And, you know, we've worked hard on this actually to get it to be as easy as we can. We have a bulletin that's in your packet that describes the requirements. And we've worked hard on this. And I recognize that it's not very popular, but it is a requirement in the California Building Code. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I would just add.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. You're on point when you say it's not very popular. I mean, I've got calls and I can't disagree with my constituents and other constituents throughout the county. It just really irritates me. I can't say that.
No, you can, it's just, it's a California building
I know,
requirement,
but
it's not a
California
Alaska
keeps gouging these small rural counties with fee after fee after fee, and they're the ones that are paying the price, and it doesn't even affect most of California. It's the rural counties where there's ranching and farming and open land, and it just really irritates me.
It's not very popular in the department either.
No, I bet it's not. And so I wanna thank you and your department for all you've done on this, because I know you've got a lot of heat from it too, so thank you.
Maury?
I was just gonna add to, the minimum inspection fee, that's a minimum inspection fee that has one time, person going out and inspecting the actual anchoring system. So, there are lower fees for different things, but that's the lowest that we charge for going out in the field and inspecting.
Thank you.
So is the state concerned that these are gonna blow away?
I would never call to speak for the operation of the state's mind. That's sort of like trying to figure out what your dog's thinking. It's probably wrong. But I would say that we have witnessed cargo containers rolling over and blowing in the wind, which seems like an impossibility, but it does happen. But I'm not lending credibility to the idea. I'm just saying it does happen under severe circumstances. I can't speak to the motivation of the state.
Mr. Ingram?
Well, I know I asked a couple questions. One of my constituents had asked, why are we recognizing this now, and what happens if we don't? I mean, why even bother recognizing it?
Well, that's a good question for county council, but I'll take a stab at it. First of all, we declined to interpret the code in the past because it was somewhat nebulous. And then in 2023, I believe, they sharpened it up because people like me were not interpreting it the way they wanted to. And so they changed the law to be just to outline and specifically address these containers. And why do we comply with the law? Take it away, Counselor.
because we're required to. And it just exposes the county to liability.
And as well, I mean,
And if
if you were,
something happens and you're not requiring the state standards, then they're gonna sue the county. Even though might be on private property and resulting from a private situation, they said you should have told me I had to anchor it. You should have made me anchor it. And that's how we get sued.
and while I'm not an attorney, I do play one on TV occasionally. I will say that if the board were to direct staff to disregard state laws, you could be personally liable for any kind of accident or incident.
Well, you can't direct staff to break the law.
Well, they could, they should, and we probably
Well,
should.
but the staff
Right. Well, I mean, for instance, the state building code says it has to be on a slab anchored on 4 different corners.
Take it away, Galen. What about the slab?
We've interpreted that as loosely as we can to require that anchoring, it has to be anchored, but it doesn't have to be on a slab. So,
Right, well, I mean, if we're not gonna recognize the complete state building code, why recognize it at all? Why have augers, why do anything?
Because we're meeting, we believe, the letter of the law without taking it to an extent that, you know, some jurisdictions might want a slab. I forget the terminology Galen came up with, but it's not a slab, it's something else. And so that keeps reoccurring as a thing, you gotta have a slab. When in fact, maybe Galen, you can, I know it's in our packet, what the requirement is for the surface. And there's a slope requirement.
yeah, it's 2,600 pound, hold down pressure of 2,600 pounds.
Well, this is a perfect example. We just waived the second reading on the wildland urban interface requirements for sprinklers because they're silly as this building code is. So we all know when a fire comes, we lose power, we lose pressure to the well. Why have sprinklers in the house? This is just as ridiculous as the WUI requirements. Why even recognize it?
Well, for one reason, and I don't mean to get in front of Galen, but we're not talking about Title 24, which is the building code. In the case of the WUI and the exemption, that's Title 25, it's different. It's a different path to get there. We saw that path, we took it, but it's not the building code, it's the Title 25, which is,
Community development, I forget the exact title.
something, so not the same, apples and oranges, sorry to say. I can tell you that Galen and Matt May work tirelessly to do, for the people of this county, the most minimum. And like Galen's said, you know, we really struggled with this when it came across the board, and we dislike it as much as anybody. Maybe not as much as Mr. Mallory, but we do dislike it. And so we've done everything in our power to minimize the requirements and to make it as painless as possible. That said, we understand it's painful.
No, very painful. I'm confident in 2026, we're gonna have a new governor in the state of California, and he's not gonna be a Democrat. And ludicrous and ridiculous building codes like this are gonna change. They're not gonna be accepted. I don't know why we even have to recognize it. That's just my 2 cents. I mean,
We're a government entity and we're supposed to follow the law, whether we like it or not. I have a quick question.
Yes.
A friend of mine, he's got 3 containers and he put them all up at the same time. Will he get a break on the trip out there to inspect them, or is it per container
If we could do it on one inspection, we could do them all together.
for,
For one, issued at the same time.
that'll help, thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Are people that already have containers on their property, are they grandfathered in some way,
Yes.
or they have to meet the new requirements?
There's no non-conforming for this, because if it depends on when it was put there. If it was put there prior to January 1st, 2023, then it may be non-conforming, but I would have to ask
I
council.
doubt it would be non-conforming, just because the law didn't change, it was simply clarified and tightened up. So I mean, you can make the argument, but I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket.
I will say to this end, I have said publicly that I am not interested in cargo containers that were placed prior to this, because if somebody called the office and asked, do I need a permit, we would have said no. And so I don't, you know, despite what may be the ramifications, I'm not interested in, we're a complaint-driven office. And so we're not out looking for cargo containers that have been there. We drive down 395, we know the ones that have been there for years, we know when they're new, and so.
Yes, Mr. Alba.
Couple of questions. You have the U occupancy.
Yeah.
Can't even speak. What the heck's that?
It's like garages, shops, buildings, not accessory structures.
Okay. And it's only for your own personal private storage?
Yes.
Okay. My next question is you have temporary storage, you can limit it to 90 days. I think that's way too short of a time frame. Because if you're gonna be remodeling your house or doing something else, and you're gonna need that storage, you need it for more than 90 days.
And then there's a 90-day extension to that as well, so a total of 180 days.
You know, almost a year to get my house redone when I did it. I mean, it's too short of a time frame, in my opinion. So my question is, how much leniency do we have in the state code where we can go out as far as we can on this? Or is 90 days what the state says?
State says 180.
What we're going with is 180 days. The state doesn't have any exemption for time period for temporary placement.
Okay, so let's put it out there then. In my opinion, if we have to do this, let's put it out there.
I think that's a policy issue for the department to consider, and we'll take your input, and, we don't need to opine on that right now, but point taken.
Because it's only fair, I think. And then open space district, you can't have them in open space districts. You can have houses in open space
No.
districts, can't
You
you?
can't.
No?
Nothing.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't say nothing, there are some, power lines, things that can go through open space, but, in terms of structures, no.
Okay. And you don't have to have a permit if it's on a chassis, so we know,
Well, if it's a licensed vehicle, no.
what if it's not off?
If it's got a non-op on it, then it's still licensed, it's on the chassis, so it's not regulated. It specifically says if it's on a chassis that it's not considered a building.
So even non-op is registered, so then it's not applicable.
So what if I took my cargo container and just jacked it up and put my pickup axle on it?
Yeehaw. I bet you your wife will love it.
Put windows in it and take it camping.
But you put windows in it, you need a building permit, and now you're in a different,
Now you're in a different category. I mean, I don't know,
It's just one of those things.
and by the way, we're essentially taking your comments and inputs, this is a report, there's no action item,
right.
so.
Provide direction to staff, that's it.
Well, you can provide direction for me to do a lot of things, but ignoring this is not one of them.
And what's the definition of a storage container according to the state? Is it?
Yeah, it's a lengthy one, it should be in your packet.
Yeah, it's in the bulletin,
Because if it's a smaller one, if it's a 10 by 12, I don't think it needs to.
Well, 10 by 12 might be a horse of a different color.
it says an intermodal shipping container is a metal shipping container which was designed to be used to transport goods and materials by truck, train, ship, and or air, and which is being used for the storage of goods, merchandise, or equipment, excepting any such metal shipping container that is on a chassis. So that's, in our bulletin, that's a definition, the state has also has a definition in the building code.
So this time around, they were gonna be sure there's no misunderstanding.
What if I'm putting wood in? For my fireplace?
That doesn't make an example.
It's a shipping container with wood in it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not shipping it, I'm just storing it. Well, I mean, there's always. I need to read this over a little closer, but like you said, this is, you're just taking the input. But the one thing that I have is the temporary storage, that needs to be extended out.
If you can. Yeah, this bulletin that he's created is based on the state law, so there's not necessarily, this isn't county code that is changing. This is what the state has done, this is what the county has to follow. This is a bulletin to that effect. So,
There's gonna be lots of stupid questions coming in your guys' office, I can guarantee.
That's what we did.
Okay, so,
So then, the other thing I got is, your building permit submittal requirements. The clearance between the ground and the container floor shall not exceed 12 inches, so I guarantee my pickup axle sits more than 12 inches off the ground.
Well, if you're on an axle and it's registered, I don't care.
Okay.
but it has to be registered. registered on up.
There you go. Richie Brothers is gonna be busy.
Galen, I think you should do a sweep of Frosty Meadows.
All right, so,
No actions required.
all right, and, you know, I mean, I was, disappointed when this went into effect, and I know that, we don't like what the state of California rams down our throat, like always, and, so I do appreciate, Galen, you and your staff for finding, I feel, a little better, solution than having a engineered set of plans to have a storage shed, you know, that, and so I just, hope that everybody can understand that it's not this board's doing, it's the state of California. And we don't like it, but just like, Amanda said, we are required to follow the law. Yes.
Another quick. What authority do we have, Amanda, as a board of supervisors to modify the building code on something like this? Can we modify it at all?
The state building code?
Yeah.
No, you don't have any power to do that.
You have only the power to make things more challenging, not
Not
less.
less. You make it more restrictive.
We can make it more restrictive and not less.
Run for governor. I'm behind you.
Okay, public comment. Anybody can come up. Mr. Mallory, okay.
My name's,
Yeah,
My name-
state your name and you have 3 minutes, Terry.
my name's Terry Mallory. I own and operate Lassen Rents. Thank you supervisors, staff, and audience for hearing me. As it's been mentioned, yes, I'm opposed to this. So this regulation has directly impacted my business and my family. I have a loss of income, loss of container sales, and loss of container rentals. This regulation does not address container rentals. Rentals are not permanent. As you know, I have a rental business and I have quite a few container rentals. Rentals are not permanent and should be exempt from the building permits. Rentals are usually sudden demands and urgent needs. Rentals are generally very lengthy in time due to unseen circumstances. I must comply with California Air Resources Board, portable storage laws, setbacks limitations, tax laws, and all of the state and federal laws. This current regulation has just stopped my business in its tracks, and people are afraid to rent or buy a storage container. My telephone has not stopped ringing. I have listened to customers daily complaining about Lassen County trying to be like Los Angeles. I have sold 2 containers in Lassen County since it was announced that building permits are required. Typically, I should be 3 times that amount. With nice weather approaching, contractors will be picking up and rentals will be needed. Why should a contractor's rental or a homeowner's rental require a building permit when the project extends beyond 6 months? It took my contractor 16 months to build my house. I believe this regulation law was written by someone who has a distaste for storage containers, and therefore it is biased. It was quietly put into law without full public awareness. Containers are built with industry standards for strength and durability. There is a container industry standards and regulations on how to build containers. You can stack a loaded 40-foot container with 69,000 pounds, 9 high. Why does the container industry need county or state input for placement and use? If a container is modified into a home, I can see the use for engineering. Then you start to jeopardize integrity. A standard 20 or 40-foot container with a roll-up door is not a big deal. The container industry already has all this documented. You don't need permits. You can take out 30% of one side and it still maintains the same structural integrity as when it was built. I urge you as supervisors and businessmen in Lassen County, I was born and raised here and I'm trying to do business here. I urge you to choose not to enforce this regulation in Lassen County. And I'd like to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Question?
I can feel your pain. Thank you.
I got a question. Terry?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, no? Okay.
Amanda, can he answer?
Not supposed to, it should
Sort
be
of
well.
back and forth, but.
Mike Snook.
Mike Smith, okay,
I'm not real prepared for this, not being on public speaking, but I've been fighting the container thing for 20 years now. In the beginning, California wanted us to use the intermodal containers as a resource because there were so many on the planet. So we started buying up the containers and using them as intermodal or container building units. They changed from a shipping container to a, anyway. I've had to have engineering on the containers to show us where we can and cannot cut. The building department won't accept that. They want as-built drawings and new engineering on every container. Unfortunately, all my containers were used as studios in Oakland, so they've all been cut in a safe manner, but not beautiful. I don't want my containers anymore. I still need them while I try to recover from the fire. But to have as-built drawings on every container and engineering will cost more than buying new containers. So I guess I know I'm in the wrong place for the argument, but I think the rules need to be a little bit more specific because we will use a shipping container as an intermodal unit. We ship stuff overseas, art pieces and whatnot. They leave once a year and come back, not 180 days. Then we also will use the container for a studio, for chicken coop, whatever we can come up with. When that use is used, then we chop them up and use them for the metal that they were built out of. So I have an intermodal unit that was going to be used for a tilapia pond. It's a fish pond. It's like halfway in the ground. Do I have to have a building permit for stuff like that? It's difficult because intermodal. To me, a shipping container is just an appliance, like a washing machine, a refrigerator, or a motorhome. It's not really a building. I have 6 forklifts and 2 cranes. I move them around like Legos. So then I'm curious if I keep moving them, am I still grandfathered in? There's just a lot of questions, and it's stressful because it's going to cost money and time. So I'm happy to talk different ideas we've had to deal with in the past when I'm not up in front of everybody. So that's just some of the things I wanted to throw out. They're not. My containers aren't intended to be buildings. We do use them for storage. The art piece that's in my yard over at the cafe went to England for 3 months and came back. That container's sitting there. Do I have to get a building permit for that? You know, they're about the equivalent of a beer box to me. So, anyway, carry on, do your thing. Said I'd put the word out. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Jewell. I just thought I would make a couple of comments about this as well. I've been working in shipping containers as an artist and a small business person since 2001 in various locations. I just wanted to say that the idea that it's 26,000 pounds, most of us have cars that weigh about that. The idea of taking a container for me, which I use to store art and often is 1 or twice times a year that I would move that container. The idea of trying to get around this by either putting it on a chassis, which sounds less dangerous than sitting on, or sounds more dangerous than sitting on the ground where it has ground contact from a full container. That sounds less safe than putting it on, putting on a chassis seems like a ridiculous way to get around this. If this could be extended to a year or year and a half as what's considered temporary, that greatly reduces impact on me as a small business person, probably this gentleman here as well, because many of the uses of these are about a year and a half. Also, building a foundation then undermines all the ability to move these things around, and that makes it, that's a really useful use of these containers, to be able to move them, not just for my artwork that gets moved around, but also reconfiguring places, all sorts of businesses. Anyway, I just wanted to say those things because I've been using containers since 2001, and they're a wonderful resource for building and storing tools, storing artwork, moving things around. So anyway, I just want to get my words in front of you as well. So I apologize, you guys are struggling with this as well as we are, but hope we can find a compromise.
Thank you. Is there anybody else from the public like to comment? Yes, sir.
James Brigette, and I'm looking for a loophole. Is there any chance, a bunch of questions have come up, is there any chance that we can come up with a list of questions, submit them to the state, and then wait until they answer? Is that something that can be considered? Let them clarify, let them address the problems that are coming up here and tell us what we need to do. Make it their thing to consider rather than eat the problem they've given us. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks. Is there any more public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll bring it back up here, Mr. Albaugh.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question, and I don't know if anybody up here knows the answer, but maybe somebody in the audience does. Is there when this come through, Maureen, was there any opposition from a storage shipping container industry that was opposition to this, and how have they fought it?
I don't have any information with that regard. We just know when the different cycles come through, we look for changes, and this was one of them. So I can't speak to the opposition or what they might have or may not have went through to get this into the law. I don't know.
Yes.
Well, I have to use a famous line from Mr. Aaron, my favorite line here. I challenge us to get sued. We've been under Governor Newsom for way too long, and stuff like this has happened. Next year, we're gonna have a Republican governor. I say we kick the can until this next election. Don't even recognize this thing. Why bother? Everything's gonna change next year.
You hope.
I'm fairly confident. With as many counties turned red over this last election, 69% voted in favor of Proposition 36. Mayor London Breed in San Francisco, the San Jose mayor, Democrats pushed for Proposition 36 to pass and start holding criminals accountable again. This next election cycle is going to change everything. Why even recognize this until next year? So they don't even recognize it. Wait until we get a real governor in place and see what happens.
Well, part of the problem is the state law, and to change state laws, that's legislative, and when you've got 70% of the legislature is Democrats, I don't necessarily see the law changing from the legislative point of view.
Amanda made the comment, we cannot follow it, then you're liable for it. I don't choose to be liable as an individual.
I've never seen one blow over.
That's not what I'm talking about.
No, that's what would happen. If something happened and won't blow over, then we would be liable. But stuff doesn't blow over, especially if they're loaded. I've had them for years.
It's state law, I don't like it, No one on this board likes it, no one in this audience likes it. But we're not criminals here, and we,
And this is just to get feedback, we're not
Yeah.
putting this in place.
so.
Okay, on that, we'll,
You received the report?
received it, and thank you, Galen and your staff, and,
One other question, because there's a lot of people in here that are interested in this, when do you anticipate seeing this coming back?
It's not coming back to the
It's
board,
not.
this is informational only.
This is the law.
This
This is just to tell people that this is the law. There's nothing for you to decide on it. It's,
In addition, we're here to demonstrate that Galen and his staff have done everything to make it as.
To minimize the effect.
Yeah, as least painful as
Yeah.
possible. That said, we understand it's still painful. But until the day comes where the next governor wants me to rip that in half, I'll be the first one to rip it in half, and happy to do so. But it is the law, and staff follows it.
then people can contact their own legislators and ask for changes to be made. But this is the law. There's nothing for the county to decide on it. There's nothing we can do on it, except what Galen's already done, which is to try to minimize it as much as he can from the fee, and taking away the engineering requirement, that sort of thing.
the staff has done everything that they possibly could to minimize the pain that the governor has put in place.
The legislature.
Yeah, he's complicit.
So,
He's complicit.
all right,
So we're
Thank-
almost ready to find it.
thank you, and,
Registered actors.
we'll move on to, county administrator. Do you have anything for us?
I do not have anything to report.
Okay, this time we'll adjourn the meeting.
Well, I saw you nodding off over there for a while.